Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome back to tutorial part 2 for my 7x9 Sunny Days mini album. In this video, we'll be starting in on the inside of the front and back covers, creating flaps for those. For our inside, front, and back cover, we're going to do them exactly the same. We're going to make full flaps that open up, and then we're going to put double pockets on each one. So I'm going to cut these. I've written it out. This one I put down 4 and it wasn't supposed to be 4, so I scribbled that out. Excuse that. So I'm going to set the album aside right here, and let's get the trimmer first and a sheet of the craft cardstock. Actually, we're going to need 2, I think. Okay. So we're going to cut 2 7.5 by 9. So I'm going to cut the 7.5 first. 7.5, save that, by 9. That's the flap for the inside front cover, and then another one for the inside back cover. So let's say 7.5, 7.5 by 9. Okay. Then for the pockets, these are not going to be long enough, so these 2 pieces we'll just have to set aside for something else. From these, what is this? Gives us enough for the 4. So let's cut it at 8. Let's cut 2 that are 4 by 8 out of those leftover pieces. Save that. Down to 4. We need 2 of those. Down 8. And then we need the 4-inch. Now, I hope we have scraps that will work for the 3 by 8. So let's, I'm not going to have anything. That's a 3. Not quite the 8. I'm thinking I may change the size of them just because. 3 by 8. Put some space around them. I don't. I have this piece. I can get one. I'm not going to be able to get the other, I don't think, out of scraps. Maybe you have more than I do. Nope. I really don't like cutting into a scrap. So let me think. If I make them an inch smaller. This is all because I want to conserve some paper for you. Make them an inch smaller. That would make them 6. We're going to do that. We're going to make them an inch shorter and have more paper showing around the sides. You'll see. It'll be fine. So where's my pen here? Instead of 8, we're going to make this 3 inches by 7, 4 inches by 7, and we're going to score the 7-inch side on both of these. I know that's a lot of scribbling, but this is what my notes end up looking like. So these 2 here are your 4, and we're going to cut them down to 7 inches, 4 by 7. 2 that are 4 by 7. Clean out your trimmer so that it cuts right. 4 by 7. And then This piece here is a 3 by 7. I need 2 of those. So I should have a 3 by 7 right there. 2 of those. Okay, now we're ready to score those. Of course, the pockets are not going to be able to put in until we do our pattern paper, but let's get the scoreboard. Take your 7.5 by 9, put the 7.5 in at the top, and score at a 1/2 inch on both pieces. 7.5 at the top, score at a 1/2 inch. Then these pockets, take your 3 by 7, put your 7 in, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. And I need to change that on the other note. 7 inch, 1/2 inch, and at 6.5. You won't have to rely on these notes with all the scribbled out. I will have it typed up where you can print them out. So now it's 6.5. So we do that on all of these the same. The long side, 1/2 inch, and at 6.5. These bigger ones, 1/2 inch and 6.5. Now what I'm going to do is turn it once and lightly score at a 1/2 inch. This is not a score line, but a placement guide. Right across the bottom here, which of course I got off, and it'll be covered by paper, so I'm going to just do that. So this wider one, score 4-inch side at 1/2 inch. So that I'll remember to put that in the cutting guide. So 7 inch in, score at a 1/2 inch, 6.5, 1 turn, and just 1 score at a 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's that. Now we'll punch the pockets out if you're doing the decorative punching. So first I'm going to put these, I'm going to score these. Fold and burnish. They're already scored, we just need to burnish them. Okay, and once we get this in, then we're done except for adding our patterned paper. So with the flaps open, I'm going to center this. That opposite from that bottom score line. Line these up. Other side. Okay, so see how it comes into this part over here? This is where you're going to cut that out a little bit, right along that score line, and then miter it and get it straight. Miter it, angle cut, and then along the score line. Same thing here along the score line, and then miter down. Now, this part here, angle across where they intersect, but you're not going to fold that score line up. This is just going to be a placement guide. This is what folds, and this is what folds. So that's the way that looks. Okay? So let's take this other one and let's punch it as well. So line these guys up. cut down the score line on the side of the design and then angle. That. Need to cut a little more of this one right there. Okay. And then miter down here at the bottom. And then when you fold this up, you have your pocket looking like that. Okay. So the next one. I'll get rid of this trash here. Put this piece underneath it to catch it. Okay, so these, you got your score lines opened up. We're going to line this one up. Punch. Cut down the score line, past the design, and then miter. Fold. And there is your pocket with its decorative piece. And one more. Oops. I just didn't punch right. Okay. Okay, there it is. And with these on that piece of paper, I can just throw that in the trash now. Okay. So let's grab our book and start assembling. So let's open this up. I'm going to put this flap to the left side of the front cover. And I think I'm going to round these corners. So that's going to glue right there. This down to where we can kind of see. Okay, glue on that 1/2 inch. Uh-oh, there we go. Thought we'd had let it sit too long. Okay. Line it up top to bottom and along the edge of the cover. Oops. I always let mine slip a little bit. Start all over. And make sure I've got it lined up right. Okay. Burnish it down once you've got it in. Because so there's going to be patterned paper back here. Now then, let's do the other side. Same way, except it's going to attach to the other side on the other edge. around this one as well. It's the 7mm. Okay, and the glue on the hinge. Line it up. Okay, and burnish. Yep. Missed that one too. Could be there. I'm probably going to have to put more glue on. Okay. Yeah, a little more glue. Goofed up, had to move it. But that's the beauty of glue. If you don't have it on the way you think it should, then you just quickly lift it up. All right, I think that looks better. And move it before it completely dries. Okay, there's the back one. Okay, so now let's build the pockets up here, and then, yeah, everything's coming right along. So we take the shorter one that just has the two sides. Oh, we're not going to glue them on until the pattern paper is added. But it's going to go, so when you put your pattern paper on, and then you put this on, you glue the two sides and just a little bit along the bottom. And then this one will, you know what? Because of that lace, let's see here, how far can it go? It's going to go in further because I want that lace to cover it up. But anyway, I will show you that when we get to that part. So I'm just going to clip these in. Where they go, so I don't lose them. We'll get that pattern paper going and put these where they belong. Right here. And then, of course, from your scraps, you're going to want to grab some different mats that you might have. Let's see what we got there. These two are, and these I'm not putting in the cutting guide. These two are 4 by 4.5. But you know what I'm going to do? I think it'd be, let's see how it looks. The 4.5-inch side. Yeah. I'm going to punch the top edge and see how it looks. See if it comes out right. I just think it would be pretty, kind of peeking out of a pocket. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. And that's little bitty notch right there, so I could trim some of that off. So anyway, that could go in a pocket if that looks, if I think it looks good. We're going to put that one right there, and we'll punch the other one. Okay, so there we go for that. And then this is a big one. Just around the corners. They don't have to all be the same on the front and the back. So this one is scrap that was 5 by 6.5. So that's a good mat size. I'm going to round it. It may not fit in this pocket. We'll see once we get it all going. If not, we'll put it in a different one. What else have we got? Got this small one. This is a 3.5 by 4.5. Like I said, yours may all be different sizes. Of course, you can take another sheet of cardstock and cut more if you want. So I'll stick that right in there. Okay, so the rest of mine are more like tag sizes. So I think I may make some tags. So let me dump this. Let's see which ones we have. We have these 3, 4. Okay. I have a tag punch I'm going to use, and I'll be right back when I find that. I'm going to make 4 tags. These are all 6 inches. I cut them down to 6. And I'm going to use this punch that I have. It's a tag punch. It needs to be 2 inches wide. I've had this forever. I love it. If you don't have a punch for tags, use die cut that you may have, or simply just angle cut, and make your own tags. So these I'm trimming down to 2 inches wide. The long, skinny ones. Two more. Okay. Of course, you can make yours any width that you want. I think 4 for now will probably be enough. And with this punch, I just slide it in there. Well, it's supposed to be a 2-inch wide. There we go, maybe. See, I love how it does the top like that. And then all you have to do is, of course, do it at your patterned paper. And then some ribbon or string. These also make good closures if you fold them and use them as closures. I may do that in there. I don't know yet. Okay, so there's the tops of those. Now then on the bottom, I usually round those. Okay. Now all we need to do is get our pattern papers together, decide how I'm going to cut those, and get busy putting all the rest of this together. So I think I'm going to put, for now, just 2 here and 2 in the back. And of course I may move them around, but that's where I've got them. And there we have it, coming along, and that is just 1 page with lots of flaps. For the pattern papers for the outside of the cover, we're going to cut them and assemble them onto our mats, but we're not going to glue them down until we have finished the inside, because I do want to add the ribbon tie closure underneath the mats and the pattern papers. So we're going to cut them, glue them together onto the mats, and then set them aside so that we won't use up the papers that I want. Now you can choose any of the papers you like. And I am going to double mat it. So the measurements that are in your cutting guide will be for the bottom mat, which will be the brown, and then the center mat, which is the craft, I mean, not the craft, but the ecru, my colors, and then the patterned papers. So I'm going to try to show you how I cut them and give you the measurements. If you do not want to double match yours and you just want to be the patterned paper straight down onto your craft cover here, then you will cut the largest measurements that I give you, which would be for the brown. Okay, so these, you're going to need 2 sheets of each of these, and I've already cut mine. So I did cut these to 2 of the brown at 6 7/8 by 8 7/8, and 2 of the ecru at 6 3/4 by 8 3/4, and then you need 1 brown at a 1 1/2 by 8 7/8, so you can get that out of a scrap from leftover from this, and then you need 1 of this color, 1 3/8 by 8 3/4. So I've already cut those for mine. It's the print that I want to show you on how I cut mine. So let me grab these and I'll set this aside. This, and then we'll glue them all together, but I want to show you the pattern papers, how I'm going to cut those, or try to show you. So this is going to be my front right here, and I wanted this big flower right there, so I know it's hard to see, and then this is the back side. Cut 2 of those out of scrap of leftover. The back side, we'll flip that over, or I'll show you how to cut it. So for this piece here, what I'm doing is a piecing technique on here. So I cut it 5 wide. So I did cut my 5 first from this length here, 5 wide. So here's the cut for the 5. And then I turned it, but I want to make sure my pattern is correct of what I want the design to be. So I cut off from the bottom edge here, cut off about 2 1/4. Just cut that off from that 5-inch piece, and then cut this down to 8 5/8. So that's the size we get. 5 wide, 8 5/8. Okay. Then what's left here from this sheet, all you have to do is cut a piece here that is 1 1/2 wide by 8 5/8, and then you need one that's cut. And I did want this one to match up on this, so this is a piecing. So for this one, you're going to cut up 2 1/4, then cut your 8 5/8 after you cut your 1 1/2. So I took this remaining section, so I'm not confusing you, this remaining section, cut off 1 1/2 inch from this side here, from here to here, then turned it, cut off 2 1/4, and then cut my 8 5/8 so that I can match up the print here, the lines and the lettering. See that? Then this one's real easy. Just cut this one out of whatever's left and cut it at 1 1/4 wide by 8 5/8 tall. So that's that piece there. And then I wanted my back piece out of the smaller blue, white flowers with the blue. This one's just real easy. This is just one piece cut at 6 5/8 first, so that you still have this piece left, and then cut the height at 8 5/8 tall. So that's your pattern paper for that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. I'm going to speed up the camera. What you do is you take one of your bigger brown ones. This is your 6 7/8 by 8 7/8, and one of this color, ecru, which is smaller. It is 6 3/4 by 8 3/4. We're going to glue that together. For the back side, we glue this one on. This one, I'll slow down the camera and show you how I'm going to piece that to get that together. the spine one glues like that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera now and get this one glued together and this one glued together. Okay, so there's the back and the spine. So we'll glue these together. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one onto this one. It's kind of opposite of what I did on the others. But I want to get these two together because then I'm going to build up the layers of my cover piece. Okay, so we have that. So we have these two pieces here. So this one's going to go to the left like this. And then this one lines up with a gap in between. It's just a division, just something different I wanted to do. So I'm going to put the glue on this piece first. And glue it here. Be sure I have the same amount of spacing, top and bottom here as best I can. We can burnish that down. And this one will fit in. And make sure it has the same amount of space on the sides. This is really beautiful paper collection. It was really hard to pick what to use for the cover. So like I said, any patterns that you want to use is perfectly fine. You don't have to do exactly as I did. So see, I just have that beige line, ecru line showing through there. Burnish that. And that's what it looks like for the cover. So it's kind of like a pieced type thing, but it's the same pattern, nothing different. So this is going to go here on the front. And then we'll have this one for the spine. And then the back one. So these two for sure we're going to save and put on later. I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to go ahead and put my spine piece on because I don't want to lose it. Since it's smaller, I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. No ribbon's going to go underneath it, so it's okay to glue this one down. So there's the spine piece on. So this is how it's going to look, like this and then like that. I think that's really pretty. Okay, so these we will save. Make sure we keep them in a safe place. And next we're going to start working on the inside of the album. So probably go ahead and work on this on the inside cover and then throughout go through the pages. So this goes with the inside backside cover. Okay, so we'll start working on that.